Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to make this 720-degree layered peplum. If this is something you are interested in, I'll advise that you stay tuned. So I will start by folding my gum stay into 4 parts. I'll also make sure that the gum stay is long enough for my peplum, the length of the peplum I want, and the allowances I'm going to add to it. So I'll be taking my measurements from the covered edge of the paper. Remember our quick maths, we have already divided our waist measurements by 8, so which is 3 plus half an inch for my sewing allowance, and then I'm just going to curve it at the edge of the paper the way you see me doing, and then I'm just going to mark it out. This is not definite, but it is going to guide us to make the curve of the waistline. So now I'm just going to take the measurements from the edge to the point I marked there, and then I'm just going to use it as a guide to make my curve on the paper. So after marking out my curve, I'm going to measure it to make sure that I have my exact measurements. If it's not exact, I'm going to adjust it again to make sure that I have the measurement I calculated. I've been wondering all day, try to be fine, but I can't be. The noise in my mind wouldn't leave me. Try to get by, but I'm burning. I mean, my mind is runs. All these thoughts I'm troubling. Starting to give up my pain. Starting to be on my... Now that I have my curve, I'm going to mark out the length of the peplum that I want. I'll be starting from the smaller part, and the length will be 4 inches, and then I'll also add half an inch for my sewing allowance, and then I'm just going to mark it round. For layered peplums, it's advisable to start with the smallest parts so that it will be easier for you to progress to the bigger parts. No matter how many layers you want it to have, it will be very easy for you to progress once you have the smallest bit first. So now after marking out this last part, I'm just going to add my allowance to the waist bit, and then that is basically it for the first layer. So since it's a 720-degree peplum, I am going to cut 2 of these parts, because this one here now is just 360. So I'm just going to cut out another part which is going to make it 720. Now for my second flare, I'm simply going to fold my pattern into 2 and then place the first flare on it, and then add 2 inches round it to make it longer. You see, this is why I said you should make the smaller flare first, because now you can just add whatever amount of inches you want to it to make it longer. You can progress from it. Anyways, I'm just going to place it on it and then add the 2 inches. There's no need for extra allowance because we already have allowance on the first flare, so it's also going to reflect on the second one. So just add the remaining amount of the remaining length you want it to have. Also, remember that it is a 720 flare that we're cutting, so we're going to cut two of it. So I'm trying to cut both of them at once. So if you can cut both of them at once, you go ahead and do it, but if you can't, take your time and cut it.
Them other girls want me, but not you. I want to know, I want know. Shady not this kind thing with tomato, moo. Oh no no. Not the little things you do make me no 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 no. This distance is taking a hold of me for sure. Oh baby come, oh girl I want make me day. I feel like making you. Oh no no, I feel like making you. Oh baby I know no.
Now our flare is ready. I'm just going to iron it on the fabric and then cut it out. I also went ahead to iron to put more gum stay for the lining bit because I want it to be like very extra. So this is going to help it stand more. So I'm just going to slash through one half the of the peplum so that I can join it together so that we can have our full 720 peplum. So just fold it into two, iron one side and slash through. Now after slashing through, I'm just going to pair them together, right side to right side, and pin it and then sew it together. That way we're going to have our full 720 flare. So just pin them together. I did what I got when them kills over. I did try to buy moto, Toyota Corolla. My feelings been they swing like Django Lover. Feelings been they swing like Django Lover. Now you crash your Ferrari for Leggy Bona. Now so much you make you have been all over. My feelings they swing like. So I have succeeded in sewing them together. You can see the part where I joined them from. I ironed it flat so that it will be easy to work with. So this is how your peplum should be looking. If it's not looking like this, I really don't know how to help you, but maybe you can leave questions on how to do better. But your peplum should be looking like this. It should be giving peplum vibes just before you even put everything together. Now it's time to put our crinoline and hemming gum to use. So I'm just going to place my fabric and lining together, right sides facing right sides, and then place the crinoline and hemming gum on top it. That is, the crinoline and hemming gum are going to be inside by the time I sew them together. So normally you can decide to iron to sew it on the lining part or on the fabric. I prefer to sew it on the fabric, so whichever one works for you, do it. So this is what I have after sewing them together. Look, this is how it looks. I hope you have something like this. Now I'm just going to turn it to the right side so that I can iron it flat. This is what I have after turning it to the right side. So I'm just going to iron it now. I will recommend using a steam iron for this because it makes the work a lot easy. So I'm also going to make sure that the lining doesn't cross to the main fabric and the main fabric doesn't cross to the lining part. So just take your time, iron it, make sure it is flat and neat. This is what I have after ironing it. As you can see, it is flat and it is looking very neat. So this is it. As you can see, it is giving, it is bouncy, it is flaring, it is pepluming, it is doing all the things it's supposed to do. Now I'm just going to match the center to the center. This is for joining the two peplums together. Now I'm just going to join them from the midpoint and then all the way around. After pinning it, you sew them together so that it doesn't move while you are adding it to whatever you are attaching it to. So now from here on out, our peplum is ready. You can either add a band if you want a detachable peplum, or you can add it to your blouse, to your skirts, to wherever you want the peplum to be. So that's basically it. I hope, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you learned something from it. If you have questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. I hope to see you guys another time. If you haven't subscribed, please endeavor to subscribe. And if you are new here, I'm Ifunanya and it's lovely to have you on this space. Anyways, thanks for staying tuned. I'll see you all next time. Bye.